Welcome to part 2 of our 2025 digital marketing trends. In part 2, we're covering the remaining 4 digital marketing trends of things that you need to think about as you plan how to win in digital marketing in 2025. So let's talk about omnichannel marketing. It's kind of a big word, confuses a lot of people, but it's actually really simple. We think of single channel marketing, that's anything like email or a single social media channel or Google Ads, right? Multi-channel is when you start to add on multiple channels. Omnichannel is essentially how you bring all of those together. And this is something that really wasn't possible even just a few years ago, but now through advancements in technology, we're able to get there. What omnichannel allows you to do is to be exactly where your customers are, but know who you're talking to when you're talking to them. So imagine if you visit a website and you fill in a form, and then you find that brand on social media later and you drop them in a DM. Those two things are entirely unrelated, but through the power of omnichannel, you can start to bring those conversations together and draw a map of all of your customers' interactions with your brand in a way that's helpful for you, but also helpful for the customer. If you've ever been on the phone and on hold and had someone ask you for your account number and then you got transferred to someone else and they asked you for your account number again, that's really frustrating, right? That's like multi-channel, but with omnichannel, you're able to bring those together, and when you are communicating with the person, whether it's through automation or through phone, you know exactly who you're speaking to, you know all of the interactions they've had with your brand, so that you know how to serve them best. Omnichannel is expected to continue to take off in a big way in 2025 because consumers more and more want to purchase and want to own the decision-making process in the way that suits them, not necessarily the way that suits the brand. So maybe they want to interact with you on social media and order through Instagram. Maybe they want to visit your website and order manually. Or perhaps they just want to use a chatbot. Or maybe they even want to pick up the phone and call you. All of those things need to come together in a congruent way. And that is how omnichannel helps customers interact with your brand in a deeper way and be part of the process. And that segues perfectly into security. Just like they say, with great power comes great responsibility. Likewise, with this amount of data and this amount of automation capability at our fingertips, we as brands need to be responsible about how we manage that data and how we maintain its security so that we protect our customers. So cybersecurity and data privacy are going to be things that we must absolutely keep in mind as brands as we store more data, build in more automations and more ways to interact with customers, as well as keep up with the advancements in various privacy laws around the world. Video. I don't think I need to tell you that video is on the rise in 2025. Everywhere you go, whether it be social media or on websites or even an email, video is the dominant force in how businesses are communicating with their customers, both in B2C and in B2B. On the B2B side, we see much more about personal branding and brands telling their story and building really a personality for their brand. And on the B2C side, we see an explosion of user-generated content, viral videos, influencer marketing, and these type of things where you want to get as close to the touching and feeling the product or the service that you're looking to buy before you make a decision. And video brings you much closer in that. So just as the consumer side of video is booming and changing a lot, so is the production side. We are starting to see a disruption for the first time in probably decades, where you don't necessarily need incredibly powerful equipment and high-end video editing software to produce the kind of videos that your brand needs. So AI is making real waves in video, and I'm not talking about the prompt to create video thing that it isn't quite there yet in many cases. I'm talking much more about the video production process. We use a tool called AI Acoustics, and actually a very similar software is now built into Adobe Podcasts, where it can dramatically optimize through AI the sound quality to get near studio-like quality from average sounding mics. Imagine thousands of dollars that you don't need to spend on high-end mics and audio equipment, and imagine the seamless and much more simpler workflow that can help you do. Hardware advances are also affecting this. We're reaching a point where smartphone cameras are reaching an acceptable level for professional video. At the same time, consumers want authenticity and they don't necessarily need high-end studio production. So video is changing, and brands who aren't thinking about video right now should be. And brands who are doing video need to constantly be thinking about how to do it better, how to do it faster, and how to learn from how their audience is reacting to their content and keep creating the things that are going to resonate. Performance marketing and PPC is not unaffected either. We've seen pretty consistent rising costs in pay-per-click and CPC advertising for quite a few years now. And if you want to stay ahead of this, you need to really be thinking beyond. Gone are the days where you need to choose every piece of the interest and the audience and make a super complicated targeting. The algorithms tend to do a lot of the work, and our job now is really about matching our target audience's needs and opportunities with content and messages that speak to them. And video comes in here as well. In fact, we've moved over 50% of our ads being video ads in the last year to make sure that we're producing the kind of content that helps people connect. And funnels are getting a little bit more sophisticated as well. Customers don't want to buy right away from a brand that they just met. They want to build a relationship with you. So we're seeing much more happening on the top and middle of the funnel than we used to, and much less direct conversion ads right out of the gate. Starting with brand awareness and building that initial connection, then warming up that audience to what you're offering, showing them stuff that builds credibility like UGC and real-world reviews, and then coming in for the conversion once that person already has an idea of what you're about and that you could solve the need that they have. So those are your 8 trends that we feel from where we're sitting are the most impactful to digital marketing and digital marketing strategy all over the world. But we're not going to leave you just yet. We got just a couple bonus topics that we want to cover with you, which are a little bit more big picture, but I think make sense in terms of this video. With all of these advancements in AI and technology becoming much more democratized and being in the hands of more and more people, we're going to see continued disruption. And brands right now need to really think about how they're going to innovate. What before took a massive studio, a lot of production, and a massive budget now can be done with a smartphone, a couple of mics, and a couple of ring lights, and convincingly, to the point that small brands using guerrilla tactics are really making waves. So I encourage you to think about constantly disrupting what it is that you do and thinking fresh every single day. By doing that, we constantly stay in alignment with what our customers are really looking for versus being married to the strategy that we created a long time ago and what's always been working. Given the generational shifts and the demographic shifts that we've seen in recent years, customers are responding much more to brands that communicate their vision, their mission, and how they make an impact in the world. So I encourage you to think about not just the what and the how, but also the why of what you do, and figure out a way to communicate to your target market in a way that resonates with them. That will keep them hooked and buying from you and wanting to work with you for much longer. So that's all for today, and stay tuned for the next one. And of course, if you'd like to learn more about any one of these topics and these trends that we've covered, we've got a full blog in the description below that details all of it, and I guarantee you'll enjoy that read. See you soon.